Today, I don't know. I think recently we've been seeing definitely the increase in a lot of wedding photographers this year. I think that's pretty natural, just being, all the weddings that was kind of postponed during the pandemic. Um, there just happened to be a lot of weddings, and I think all the photographers would agree that this is probably the craziest year that we've had so many weddings this year. So naturally, there were a lot of people who were kind of into photography, or when they were doing like other photography services, a lot of people kind of ventured into the wedding photography side of things as well. And I know there are quite a lot of people still wanting to get into the sort of like wedding photography industry. So today we thought we'll discuss about how we got the first, like our own, but we got our first wedding jobs and how we did. And um, not always the most um most like amazing weddings that we shot, but like we have to begin somewhere. So we want to hear the give you the first job sort of like experience, and then and then we'll kind of discuss about that. And maybe if there are any tips that we want to, I don't know, that we want to give ourselves starting doing that first job, or maybe to other photographers, yeah, we'll do that too. But yeah, we'll see how that one goes. So what questions do we have today? So yeah, um first question is, how did you get that job? Second question is, what did you do to prepare for that wedding? And then the last one is, what are some of the tips you'll give to yourself if you were to do that again, kind of thing. Um, so Pauline, do you wanna start?
Sure. So I think I'm gonna tell two things. So like the first would be like my first wedding ever that I took part of and captured. And then another one I'm gonna talk about probably is like my own first wedding, like one that I led. It was my personal client. So the first wedding I ever attended and captured and was working for, I actually um helped my friend. He was a videographer and he was already within in the industry for about, I would say like a year or so. And so he got into videography and he needed some help that weekend. And he knew I was into photography, but I never shot like weddings before. But he trusted me and wanted to, you know, welcome me into the industry. And he needed some help, like I said. So he asked me to come and I did. And yeah, that was my first ever one. And I was a videographer. I had no idea what I was doing. Which leads to the second question, which is what did you do to prepare for it? I mean, I think I could have done everything and I would still had no idea what to expect. But the main thing I did was YouTube first thing. I think I just Googled like or searched up wedding photography video, like, and then I went down that rabbit hole, like, what does a second shooter do? What, and luckily I found some like behind the scenes of like, I forget who it was or what video it was, but it was like behind the scenes of a second shooter or even a first shooter. And like, they were just showing them what they were doing. And I'm so thankful for that because it really gave me sort of an idea of what to expect. And I got some ideas from it, like what to do and stuff. So that's how I really prepared for it. I don't think my friend even helped me. He was just like, just come, like I'll have everything set up. Like, you don't need to bring anything, just bring yourself. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, I wasn't prepared for it. I didn't know what to wear. I think I wore like a dress, which bad idea. But I thought, a wedding, I need to like dress nicely. I had no idea, like zero. So then kind of goes to my second part of it, which is my own first wedding that I ever did. So from there, my friend kind of encouraged me, like, hey, like you should do it yourself, like do photography. Again, I had no idea what I was doing, but I think it was that like little motivation, a little push from my friend who was like, you should do it. Um, and that's how I got into it. Like I started telling people, hey, I'm offering doing photography. If you know anyone getting married. And that first year in 2019, I like told everyone. And somehow I got four like not necessarily
Wow.
like full weddings, but just like my own like clients. And that's how I got started. And so again, my first ever one, I like had no idea what to expect. But luckily it was like a very untraditional wedding. So she wasn't wearing a white dress. So again, it was kind of like less pressure because they were so chill about it. They just wanted it captured.
Mm.
Like they had no expectations and they somehow trusted me with no portfolio, nothing to show. Again, I think that just shows like if you're confident in yourself, if they, if you prove that, you will know what you're doing, you have a good personality, you can definitely do it. So that's kind of like
You,
one of my tips. Sorry?
huh? No, you no. I was gonna say, just ask you. You said you wore a dress. Did you wear a white dress?
Wouldn't that be funny? No, I did not. No, it
But you've been
wasn't like
to,
a short
but
dress.
you've been
Like
to
it was
other, you've
still
been to
like
like other weddings, like as a
as
like
a
as a guest.
guest.
Yeah,
Yeah. But
yeah.
like not, I don't know. I think I definitely more like family weddings,
Okay.
not so much friends. But yes. So that's one tip I would give if I could give myself a tip. Honestly, I wouldn't change anything because I'm here now and I learned so much, but probably just to like believe in yourself, even though like you don't may not know what you're doing exactly, just no one really knows what they're doing. I think the best is just like because you're gonna learn from your mistakes. Everyone's gonna make mistakes. No one's gonna be perfect starting out.
Yeah.
So again, just kind of like kind of telling your clients, hey, like I've never actually done this before, but I'm here to communicate with you if you need anything. Like, yeah, communicating is key. So telling that to your clients. So having no expectations. But luckily they liked, the photos. So I'm very happy about that.
Well,
But
good.
yeah.
No, but I mean, like, I think you're being too modest about yourself. But I think, you've had a pretty good experience in. I mean, you probably haven't done any weddings or couples shoot, but I mean, you did a lot of like landscape photography and sort of, holding a camera wasn't something new to you, right?
Yeah, definitely not. But shooting people was so different
I
from
know.
putting your camera on a tripod and having like, a long time. You can get a million shots, of practice. But yeah,
Right. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
again, Googling and YouTube helpful. I
Yeah.
think that's how I found Taylor Jackson because like he had all those behind the scenes already. So I
Yeah.
learned a lot from him for sure.
I think that's something that like I feel like, I mean, this may sound like I'm like so old, but like you like 2019 and like I started in 2016, 2017, and it's not that much of a difference, but it's a difference between, like, I mean, I'm gonna explain it to you guys later, but this is a difference between not having any behind the scene footage to having behind the scene footage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything. Like I mean, there's some other photographers that like posted like, what to do to prepare the wedding and things like that, but there were no like behind this, or at least I couldn't find it. So
Yeah.
Mm.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
props to those people who took that initiative.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know,
It-
Thanks,
Yeah.
Taylor.
crazy.
Yeah, definitely.
And
I'm so
honestly, like
thankful. Yeah.
with him, what attracted me to his videos is that he was a Nikon shooter and he was Canadian. So, and I
Oh,
I shot Nikon and I'm Canadian, so I'm like instant like,
Mm,
connection right there. So that's why I like really enjoy it. And
yeah.
he's
yeah.
hilarious. If you haven't
Mm.
heard any of his videos, he's just hilarious. He makes me laugh
Yeah.
every
He's
video.
really,
It's so funny.
really funny.
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, that
John.
was good. Yeah, yeah. So, John, do you wanna do you wanna go next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. So basically, it's so actually really interesting. Um, so I just started my photography business last year of November. So I was first initially just doing a bunch of portrait sessions, family sessions with my friends, coworkers, just to get me started with my portfolio. But during that, I put an ad in Craigslist for like you know, whoever needs a wedding photographer, I'll do it for free. And then of course a disclaimer, yeah, I'm a new photographer. Just to let you know, I'm a new photographer. So if you're willing to, if you don't care for photos, there's just
did, did you
it-
actually say that?
no, not really, but it's implied. It's um putting out there that I'm a new photographer. Eventually, somebody did take up the offer. It was February 14 wedding,
Mm,
Valentine's Day,
Yeah.
wow.
and a simple affair. I don't know
Okay.
if you've seen that photo that I did there, but yeah, I did that wedding. It was I think it was a 6 hour coverage. Um, moving from looking back, how did I prepare for it? At that point, I was already watching a lot of videos in YouTube, and I have everything that I felt I would need. Like I had two flashes, light stands. Like I was just prepared, um, just in case somebody would be dumb enough to to actually give me a chance, um, to take to take their photos during the day. And yeah, luckily I was already comfortable with my camera. Um, sh- just because of those portrait sessions that I did initially, just understanding how the camera works and comfortable with my camera. Um, but yeah, it was definitely scary. Looking back, I should have been very scared to do that. That was definitely stupid of me not taking up a second shooting job. Now that I've met Eugene, now I completely understand like the things that could have gone wrong. Luckily, nothing went. But yeah, just going back, I felt like um I should have taken a second shooting first, um before doing like a lead role. But also that kind of pushed me to just um learn like really really fast, um because the client, they were really happy with him, with how everything turned out, and I was quite impressed with myself. Like I don't know if it was just dumb luck, or I was just prepared for it. um yeah,
How
and I
big was
would
the wedding? Like
I'm
how many
sorry.
guests? How many
I
guests?
think I would say maybe like 50 to 80 people.
Okay.
um yeah. And I think the trickiest part was the family foremost,
Mm,
because yeah, the lighting on that venue was very tricky for me.
mm.
um Mixed lighting and all that. And then, oh yeah, going tips wise, I would say, if I was gonna go back to that job, I would just say, John, take a breath. You have time to figure things out. It's not, you have time. You have time to you have all the information. You practice. You have all the skills. I think just in the moment you could get flustered, especially if you're very first shooting event or shooting very first wedding. There's a chance that you will panic. And I think I did not panic, but I was very close to panicking, and I was like, oh, what do I do? But it's important not to panic, and just to take a deep breath, and of course show confidence to your clients. um but yeah, it was like what Pauline said, it was YouTube University.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would, for our new listeners out there, I would recommend watching John Branch photography. That's probably the simplest. If you want everything simplified, I would say watch him. And also Taylor Jackson. It's also very simple. I like things simple because I want I only want to worry about my composition, and that's it.
Mm.
If you can simplify everything and just worry about the service, like how you interact with people, number one. At the end of the day, it's service. Wedding photography is service. Um, so focus on service, and then number two is composition. Um, yeah, if you can simplify your wedding day with that, then you'll be okay. Yeah,
Don't you think? Do you think? Do you think? Like I think simplifying it is probably the hardest thing to do, though.
yeah,
I think like I think like to simplify, you have to have enough experience, kind of thing.
yeah,
Like you have to
correct.
make the quick decisions, and
Yeah,
like in what like if you move to a different area, like
or
when you
what
kind of
works.
getting into the shade, like you're kind of automatically already changing the settings on your
Yeah,
camera to a little bit
exactly.
warmer Kelvin, and
Yeah,
all that kind of stuff.
yeah,
So I think that's what like all the photographers probably are trying to achieve. But I think, yeah, no, I mean, not easy, I think.
yeah,
And it's amazing what like what you guys could do.
yeah. Definitely practice. Like practice different lighting conditions before wedding. Like even at home, just pick a corner, the ugliest light you can find, and make it pretty. That's how I did it with my wife. She was tired. She was tired of me. Like, are we done yet? She was like, "Are we done yet? Are we done with you?" But like, I was just like practicing different lighting conditions, different scenarios. Like, be comfortable with your gear and everything.
Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
That's
How about you,
great.
Eugene? How was? Can you still remember?
Well, it wasn't that long ago. Um, no, it's so like listening to you guys. It's just amazing, like how um I don't think I'm that courageous. I think it took me a very long time to do the like sort of like do the first weddings. And yeah, no, so I did my first wedding in 2017, I think. 2017 February, I think it was. Um and it was San Francisco wedding. Um
Hmm.
and I
Wow.
was based in Vegas. So my first wedding was a destination wedding.
Wow.
Wow.
Wait, how did you get that client?
So um at that time I was only doing engagement sessions and honeymoon sessions, and this couple somehow found me on Instagram and asked me if I could do their engagement sessions in San Francisco. So I went over and did their engagement session, and then they really liked it, and they wanted to hire me as their wedding photographer. I was like, you probably don't want to do that. I told them I never shot a wedding. I don't have any experience. Like I I've done some couple portraits, but that's not the same as, doing the whole wedding. Because I feel like, like, I mean, not I feel like, but I know that, wedding is a very important day for anyone. And I know one photographer could mess it up very easily, not getting the right shot, not getting a good shot, or, missing some of the places, making, just trying to get the right shots. I could be, intruding the guest experience and couples experience and all that kind of stuff. So it just sounded a lot to me. And especially I've actually never been to wedding in the US. So I had
Mm.
no idea in terms of like what to expect, how to prepare for it, um, and all that. So, but they I I guess I'll put it this way: they were very nice people. They believed in me, that they said they will help me out as much as possible, and in a sense that um, they will try to make things easier for me, so that I only need to photograph in an area that that they would ask me to, or if I have time, then I can go and create something that I like, or so they just made it, they just put a lot of pressure off me, I think. And being in San Francisco wedding, being a San Francisco wedding, I I traveled to San Francisco 2 days before the wedding, and then on the day I arrived, because it's only 1 hour flight from Vegas. The day I arrived, I went to the venue, checked out the venue, um, see what the lighting condition was like, and then prepared anything that was kind of needed. And then the day before, they did sort of like rehearsal, um dinner slash kind of rehearsal wedding kind of thing. Sort of like they so that they know like where things are going to be and all that kind of stuff. It wasn't the biggest wedding. It probably had like 80 people, but it was a very, very pretty venue. I even forget the name of the place, but it's right by the water in San Francisco, where it kind of overlooks the Fisherman's Wharf and everything. So it's a very pretty place. Very difficult, tricky lighting condition. But I attended their sort of like rehearsal dinner, and I think that was the key for me. I think that kind of helped me so much, to the point that even to this day, if I'm traveling to somewhere for a destination wedding, then I try to join in their rehearsal dinner. Um, like I would offer, I will take some photos during the rehearsal dinner. I won't be charging anything for that, but at least get free food. Usually it's a pretty nice restaurant. And then, but the key thing is, I think it's just because you just get to meet all the people, all the important people at the wedding, the family members, the bride and groom side of the bridal party, and you know, so but just by knowing their names, like seeing their faces for the first time on the day before the wedding, kind of push you into sort of like, when you go to the wedding, it push you into a little bit more sort of like relaxed sort of environment. And I think that was the case for me. Like on the wedding day, like I had the because at that time in 2017, there was no one really doing the, like I said, like I was saying earlier, no, there was no one doing the behind the scene sort of like wedding day coverage. Some photographer had put up on YouTube that, like, what to prepare on the wedding day. So like this guy, I don't even know who he was. Like I think that's the only video that I watched from his channel or wherever that was. And he said, just try to plan everything in like 5 minute details. So it will be like, what you're doing, what kind of gears you'll be needing in that sort of situation, and what sort of lighting equipment you may need, or what are some of the bride and groom requested of you of that moment. So following listening to that, I kind of took up on that, and asked the bride and groom to give me the list of the formal groups. And when I was doing that formal photos, I had I had no idea like who were who. Like even to this day, it's so difficult to know everyone in weddings. So, and the best man was standing like right next to me, and I asked him, and like in my personality, if I had not met him like the day before, if I had not known his name, I wouldn't have asked him. But because I've met him the day before and we've had a few chat before, I was like, you know, do you know this guy, or do you know who this is, or do you like, should we do this and should we do that, all that kind of stuff. And he just stood by me, and he literally knew everyone, so he kind of called everyone's name, and then you know did the formal photos without any trouble. But I think if it wasn't that, I think that was probably the most difficult part of the wedding day. All the other stuff, like a couple portraits and all the other stuff, were very something that I was very used to doing in terms of engagement sessions and honeymoon sessions, and all that kind of stuff. So that was okay. But I think just because during the engagement session, like, during the engagement session, it's much more relaxed environment. You find the right lights, you find the right background, and you can shoot all day in that spot. But during the wedding day, that never happens. Like everyone's looking at different angles and you're in a different lighting situation all the time. So just I think my photography skills wasn't really at the point of to really photograph a wedding. That could be an debate about that, but I think to charge someone money for the photo a wedding, I think it just needed to be better. But I think if I could give one tip to myself, kind of doing that event again, is um I think there's just never enough about preparation. I thought I
Mm.
did a lot of preparation. I did like, but it's just never. It was just not enough. Just doing more, just just trying to go around the venue a little bit more. Just searching for the sort of like photos from that venues, or just doing more research. Because I mean, the goal of the day is kind of making the memory for the couples. So I think just having that sort of more preparedness is probably
Mm.
the best way to do it. But other than that, I think for a very first wedding, I think it was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna add like another thing kind of to tag along what you just said. Like one thing I do, especially if I haven't been to that venue, is just to look it up. Like whether it's Google Maps or just Googling it, you'll probably find someone else who's photographed there before.
Yeah.
Again, just to get an idea what it looks like. Again,
Right.
what the lighting is like,
Yeah.
and also
You-
like to look for a location for their portrait sessions, right? 'Cause
Mm.
that's what the couple is hiring you for, your expertise on the best
Yeah.
places to take photos as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. So at that wedding, I had in the sheet that I created for the planning, I had wrote down all the poses for that point as well.
oh my gosh.
in
Wow.
that in
That's
that
That's
very
yeah.
detailed.
in
Yeah.
that direction, how I oppose them, because
Wow.
I think that's the thing about doing an engagement session, because you've done an engagement session with them, you know
Right.
what looks good
That's
on them
true.
and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. I think if I hadn't done an engagement session with them first, I wouldn't have taken the wedding, but I think I wouldn't have known much about the couple or the how to pose them. So yeah, it would have been a lot more difficult job. But yeah, no, do you guys ever use Google Earth?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, Google Earth is amazing. Do you
Hmm.
download it onto do you use the downloaded version? Do you use the web version?
I just use the web version, but
Okay. Yeah, they're apparently they're a little bit different. I haven't
oh,
downloaded
okay.
it. But apparently they're a little bit different.
Hmm.
So yeah, no, that came in very handy when I went to Chicago, because there were a lot of tall buildings over there.
Mm. Yeah, I
But
guess
yeah,
that's also one of the things that I did, at least. Yeah, scout the location or where the wedding is. Especially if you're new, I really have to,
mm,
yeah, go to the location, and if you have a way to look at the lighting and all that, same time when the ceremony or the events can happen.
mm.
Yeah, check
And
out
it
the
comes down
lighting.
to
Yeah.
it's come down to the time of the year as well, because like the sun angle changes and
Right,
how the
right,
sun comes into the room or to the
right.
venue is quite different. And
Yeah.
if you're doing outdoor wedding, yeah, that could be another thing.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So I think that's pretty much everything that we kind of wanted to discuss about today. Do you guys have anything that you want to add in terms of tips to any, I don't know, any photographers who kind
Mhm.
of want to do a wedding next year, or who are actually about to do a first wedding, or that kind of stuff?
So okay, I'll go first, you guys. So to me, I would suggest just reaching out to a photographer you look up to, and um tell them what you have to offer, like you're gonna help, you're gonna assist and learn, just or shadow them, just um if you can second shoot first, just so you'll get the feel of how it's actually like on a wedding day. That's my very first. That's what I would say. If you cannot do that, um, be honest with your clients. Be Communicate what your capabilities are, what you can and cannot do. Um, and if they're okay with that, then just be grateful that they're okay giving you a chance. But yeah, that's my probably two takeaways. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say if you have like zero experience in photographing weddings, even just like assisting, like not
Yeah.
necessarily second shooting, but just to be in that environment and just like observe,
Hmm.
kind of just watch how it works. And
Yeah.
I think because what helped me doing video first was I got to watch the photographer. I got to see what she was doing, and yeah, that kind of gave me a lot of insight. So I would
Yeah.
recommend that because I feel like even if you were to reach out and a photographer to hire you as a second shooter, they normally want you to have some experience, like something to
Mm.
show that you're
Oh, correct.
capable,
Yeah.
right? So I
Yeah.
think I would say like just assisting and not even shooting
Yeah.
Mm.
might be a good
Yep.
option.
Mm.
And yeah, offering like any free shoots for friends and family just to, again,
Hmm.
testing out your own gear, your own
Yeah.
equipment, have a
Lighting
chance to
conditions.
like play and like not have that expectation or that pressure right away really helps.
Mm.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Those are my two
I
tips.
think, yeah, no, I think definitely, yeah. I mean, that's the sort of like the tip that I was kind of give, but I mean, like you guys already covered that. So, I think kind of one thing that I want to add to that is, um, I think one thing that really worked well for me throughout the year. Well, I say throughout the year, but it hasn't been that many years. The is sort of like under promise, but like over deliver it. Oftentimes I see with a lot of sort of like newer people, newer photographers, they because they want a job, they want to make some money, and they kind of over promise to the clients, and then they cannot really deliver to that level. And even if they could, there's probably missing something in other area. So just giving a little bit more, sort of like lower expectation to the clients, and even if that takes a little bit longer for you to get that first job or get into the wedding industry, I think that kind of allows you to be a little bit more relaxed on the wedding day as well. Like whether you've done a second shoot, whether you've done, assisting or any other things. But I think just having that slightly lower expectation and that expectation to be known by the couples will get you into the wedding industry, I think, much easier. So yeah, that's probably the only thing that I will probably want to add. But yeah, I think that's probably a good place for us to kind of stop for this episode. Um, if this is the second episode you guys listen to, thank you very much. I know we're not the most fun bunch of people, but hopefully there are some of the things that are useful, or um I don't know, like we said, it's not supposed to be an educational, but if you find anything educational, any tips, then I mean we are very grateful for those. But yeah, I mean, you can always find us on Spotify and Google Podcast. And next week is a week before, it's an episode before the Christmas. So we thought we go little sort of go into sort of like our imagination world. So we gave ourselves $3,000 imaginary money. And what we would do with that $3,000 for the next season coming up. So we don't know yet, and then we didn't tell us each other about what this is going to be, so we don't know what it is. But I mean, yeah,
I'm
I mean,
excited.
yeah, in this whole week, if you like all the listeners, if you guys kind of think about like if you had 3,000 US dollars, so what was it in Canadian dollars? Like just
A
above
little over
4,000?
4,000, yeah,
Yeah. So just a little over 4,000 Canadian dollars.
depending on the
So
day.
so think about what what would you do with that money? Like it could be getting a second camera, it could be getting a lens that you've been wanting, it could be lighting equipment, it could be, I don't know, external hard drives for just storing the files safely, or it could be anything. So yeah, think about it in your own time, and then maybe we'll come up with our version, and yeah, we'll get to discuss. And as always, join our Facebook group, and then we'll talk more on it from over there.
In
All
our
right, well,
Facebook
thank you for
group
listening.
in our Facebook
Yeah.
group this week, we're gonna post hopefully some photos from our first weddings, which could be interesting
Ooh, yes, I forgot
for
about that.
ourselves and for you to
Oh,
see. Maybe if you follow us already, compare where we first started
yeah.
to where we are now. So that could be
Warning,
fun.
they're not very good.
Mine's pretty bad, you guys. Mine's pretty bad.
I mean, I'm pretty proud of mine. There's obviously things I would change, but I
Yeah.
still
Yeah, definitely.
still
Definitely.
proud.
All right,
All right.
thanks for listening.
Excited.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.